Hi, I'm Federico Solazzo, a film composer living in the Netherlands. This was a different project to me as I work a lot on orchestral music. Here instead, I've just sampled the violin directly to tape to create some textures, and every other instrument is synthetic and designed from scratch.
Would you say the two of you were close?
Yeah. Best friends since first grade. We know everything about each other.
This film is about a very known story, very close to our present. This story is told by fragments of different memories, and it's masterfully written and directed by Robert Jonathan Cuyers.
The title would always be a reminder of where it all started. I remember back in 2016 coming across a video of a woman live streaming herself as her boyfriend was bleeding to death in the driver's seat next to her. He had just been shot by a police officer after trying to explain that he was a registered gun owner. This was a day after another black man had been shot for selling CDs at a corner store.
I've met Jonathan in Rotterdam a few years ago. He's a musician himself, and it's a wonderful experience working with him. Even if he understands music very well, our communication was mostly about colors, flavors, adjectives, and adverbs. From a film composer point of view, with animation you have the luxury of time and the luxury of wasting time to experiment. Also, you start from a totally blank canvas, because there is no production sound. On the other hand, everybody's doing everything from scratch, so the material you are working with is far from finished. Before sketching out something, I like to spend some time in my head to marinate a solid concept. The film is told by memories, so I went straight to tape, to analog, to noise, as every memory is lossy, noisy, and blurry. I've used two different kinds of tapes: real tape, a Tascam 4-tracks cassette, using different cassettes types for different characters, vari-speed and reverse, and monom norns, a digital glitchy kind of tape. There are 6 loops. They have a random start and a loop point and end. My challenge was to accept chaos like in real life and to dance with it, to react to it. I've also used the DAW in linear mode with no click track, so the music could breathe more and I could interact more with it. Since the beginning, with Jonathan we discussed about using surround in an immersive way, sometimes having different material in the front and in the back channels. I'll let you listen to it in a second. Basically, I would think like also the movement of the piano, I like it where it was in the position now. Yeah. But really at the end, let's try to automate that.
Let's do that right away.
I didn't know what to do.
And then he's doing like, what am I doing here?
Saying something about a gun, but we didn't have one.
I don't know what or who I was really expecting.
It all happened so fast. Don't scare them.
As we have 3 different characters, I wanted to give them a unique perspective and point of view. And not only I'm giving them different flavor, different sounds, but I wanted to play also with reference tuning, because to me this was very important. The emotion generated by the upper harmonics, it's crucial. And to do that, I of course needed to rely on synthesis, because I didn't want to pitch shift the samples in the digital domain. So I did it natively from the synthesizers, or I've pitched them via tape with a vari-speed. We can go from a dreamy to a more static. Do you hear the difference? So this was very important, and I'm using it on at the beginning and the ending, and then in the middle part we are dropping the tuning back to 440 from 448-ish. Then I worked also quite a lot with sounds, trying to make them again blurry but still interesting. And part of the idea that I had while talking with Jonathan was to get a kind of American wink. So I used a lot of Moog kind of bass and leads, and we mixed it also to an API desk on purpose. So this is, for example, a kind of bass and lead. Here what is coming out. So I'm always interactive with the sounds. Also, to create atmospheres, I'm using a very interesting syntax synth emulation, and I programmed the voice rotation. So each time I'm playing, there is a different oscillator that is slightly different, and it's gonna sound differently. So Jonathan actually was annoyed that I couldn't have a complete total recall, but it's part of the beauty. So now I'm gonna play the same stuff. Again, I love the idea of interaction between the instrument and me. It feels musically to me like one big scene, basically.
Yeah. We don't know what's going to happen. Does he have a gun? Does he not have a gun? Sort of like this nervousness that they are feeling, but also that David is feeling. That is sort of like what I want to come across. Yeah.
So the ending of this theme, and then.
Yeah.
So it's connected to.
Right.
So yeah.
That's a really beautiful idea.
I was telling you about the glitchy digital tape machine, and I want to show you how I use it. If there is this in the front channels, for example. What we have in the back is the same idea, but just pass through this. It's difficult to show you this in stereo, but you can get an idea. So when blend together, I can go to another spot. Or something else. Really lovely, but not controllable.
It was just a forever kind of day.
Music is asking questions. Music is never giving answers here. and the score is fragmented on purpose. So the theme is built of many little fragments. So from this, at the beginning, and this rhythmic 2 chords will go on with at the ending with, but also with and the da 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 da. It's coming in the middle at 440 again with this. Final theme, we find everything. Jonathan put that pose there with the title of the film. I think it's beautiful. And you want to keep asking questions.
I will always have the courage to hold myself and others accountable for our actions.
And we will do everything in our power to keep reminding you of that. So help us, God.
So help me, God.
We did the surround mix in analog at the Visselord Studios in Hilversum. The mix was done by Davide Ruffini, a great friend and a lovely mixer, and it was mixed all in analog with the API Vision Desk. We got some noise back from the desk that we have to manually clean, but hey, that's part of the game. You can watch the film in film festivals, in the cinemas, or you can listen to the stereo down mixed score on Spotify and Apple Music. Cheers!